These Csgo scams are so dangerous that there is a significant chance you, yes, you, will fall for them. Going from the least to the most vicious ones in true Iceberg style, I'll be showing you the nastiest methods scammers use to separate you from your precious skins. And what's so scary about some of them is that they cannot be prevented. My name is Dadscap, get comfortable and follow along as we expose the most dangerous Csgo scams of 2023. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for 1 minute of good luck, so just enough time to win this quick chase! Oh! Let's go! Off.
Play a Phonk made this bitch.
Taking off the motherfucking set.
The first level we build out all types of impersonations, a method that's so well known and beat to the ground that everybody and their mom, especially your mom, knows about it and can prevent it without even thinking about it. Hell, this method is so preventable, it's not even on the iceberg, it's literally above it. But ironically, I think that's kind of why it's one of the most dangerous scams out there. We all like to pretend that we're so smart and unscammable that we don't even pay attention to low-effort, unsophisticated methods like a half-assed impersonation attempt. In our minds, an impersonation is so easy to spot, it doesn't even cross our minds unless it's so obvious you think the scammer is literally just trolling you. So we just don't think about it most of the time and we laugh at the bad ones, until this happens.
Let's check the trade offers real quick. Oh, Cosmo's taking it back, okay. Alright. Thank you, Cosmo, for the little thing. Wait! Oh! Oh! No! Oh! No! Why do I not sing?
Yeah, that's pretty rough to look at. Thankfully though, this clip ended with a happy ending since the scammer saw how his actions affected another person and sent the skins back to the respectful owner, so the Cosmo guy that he was impersonating. But for most people, and this includes you by the way, aren't gonna be as lucky as the guy we saw in the clip and won't get the good ending. So, to protect yourself from this scam, just always be mindful when you're sending a trade offer to anybody. And when I say always, I do mean always. Do you know what else you should always be mindful of? The goddamn phishing sites, guys. Oh my god, why are people still falling for this method? The only reason I put this shit on the iceberg is because it's so widespread, yet you still see so many people fall for it without even understanding what the hell happened to them. We've talked about phishing sites a million times on this channel already, just go check out my last video on the top right if you haven't, but I'll just go over briefly on how to never, and I do mean never, log onto a phishing site ever again. It's a lot of never. Before logging in on any site that's not steamcommunity.com, like CS Money, Buff, Bitskins, whatever, first, check if you're already logged in, steamcommunity.com, the real site, and don't be a sloppy little bitch about it, okay? Open another tab, write the URL, and check if your account is showing up on the top right. If not, click login and just log in normally. And only then can you go back to whatever site you wanted to access before and try to log in. If this appears, congratulations, this is not a phishing site. But if this appears, even though you're clearly logged in steamcommunity.com on another tab, run kiddo, run far away because they shouldn't be asking you for your credentials. 100% of the time, that means that's a phishing site. Also, if the tab's URL does this instead of this, you're on a phishing site. Basically, just use common sense. No, you didn't win a free knife, nobody's gonna ask you to join a tournament, nobody wants you to vote for their team, nobody's gonna ask you for your items priced on the most random trading site ever like CSGO bigbigtrading.ru. If everybody in the CSGO community saw this video, phishing would literally not be a thing anymore. So please share this and let's get this dumbass method out of the iceberg for good. We've now reached the underwater part of the iceberg, which means we're discussing the more obscure and dangerous methods. We're not very deep yet, so please control your anxiety, but just letting you know, it's getting serious now because we're talking about actual account hijacking. By the way, if you're enjoying the video thus far, please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. That helps me immensely. Thank you very much. More commonly known as the iCloud hack, this scam is exclusive to Apple customers, so if your phone's an iPhone, pay attention because you're at risk. In case you didn't know, the iCloud storage on your iPhone can be used to store pretty much everything that's on your phone. So photos, videos, files, whatever. Basically anything, and this includes your usernames and passwords. So if your phone has SteamGuard installed on it, and if you have iCloud's password storage activated for your Steam app, you could lose your entire inventory right about, wait, let me see, Now, wow, impressive. Without going into too many details as to not let this become a guide for wannabe hackers, all a scammer would have to do to steal your items would be to figure out a way to hack your iCloud account, maybe through a data breach you were not aware happened containing your iCloud credentials, then make a copy of your entire phone onto their own device, log into your Steam account with the help of iCloud, and GGZ then have access to your entire account including Steam Guard privileges, and they can start sending away your items to their accounts or just quick sell them to oblivious buyers unaware they're not trading with the actual account owner. That's pretty spooky stuff, but at least it's easily preventable. Here's a funny Swedish man telling you how to do it.
Go to your phone and go to settings, then click your name, then go to iCloud and manage storage, then find backups, and in here click delete documents and data. If you see Steam under apps using iCloud, then you want to uncheck that, and that's it. Your account is secure and you can't fall victim to the iCloud hack.
Diving deeper into the iceberg, we're gonna be talking about exit scams. Its name is pretty self-explanatory, but for those of you who don't know what an exit scam is, especially in the context of CSGO, it's basically when a big reputable trader cashes in on their reputation. Look at this scenario. DoggyG is a CSGO trader. He's been in the business of buying, selling, and trading CSGO skins since 2015. He has a very extensive history of successful cash trades going back a few years. He's friends with many other big traders and YouTubers who have no problem vouching for his legitimacy. I think you understand my point. DoggyG is a trusted member of the community, and so anybody wanting to trade with him in a way that's not a direct one-on-one deal, for example a cash trade, is expected to go first, whether it's by sending their items or the money first. Unfortunately though, DoggyG, despite his incredible online reputation, is still a human being affected by human problems. That could be health problems, that could be financial problems, or just a steady, gradual dislike of the community reaching a breaking point. And honestly, yeah, I would understand him. You know, the community sometimes, Jesus. Whatever his reasoning may be, nothing can stop DoggyG from cashing in on the trust he's built over the years and scam as many people as he can on his way out. Maybe he'll do that by buying a bunch of items from many lower tier traders and delaying the promised payments until the gig is officially up, usually when other big traders start calling him out. Or maybe he'll announce that he's selling his entire inventory and he'll be collecting payments from any potential buyer without ever sending them what they paid for. Or, and that's the most common strategy, he'll just pull off one big scam like buying a super rare blue gem from a newbie trader before signing out and selling it to an unscrupulous buyer later down the line. Now obviously, the case of DoggyG is like the worst case scenario. No exit scam is truly unpredictable. Most are committed by people like the GOAT who just appear out of nowhere in the community, buy up a bunch of random shit from everybody before scamming one or two people for some big ticket item like it's business as usual. Or they're committed by people like 1965 who used to have a good reputation within the community, but after many months or years of absence, come back like they were never gone and pretend they're still the trusted people they were before. Spoiler alert, they're not. So to truly never be the victim of an exit scam, just use marketplaces. Another level down the iceberg, we've now reached the SIM swap scam. Pretty similar to the iCloud method we've seen earlier, this one is way more dangerous because it doesn't just affect Apple customers unfortunate enough to use iCloud to store their Steam passwords. No, this scam can affect anybody with a phone number and you're virtually powerless to stop it from happening to you. Oh yeah, we finally reached that part of the iceberg, baby. Now you might be asking,
But Dadscap, what the hell do you mean I can stop it from happening to me?
well, what's so vicious about this scam is that you could be doing everything right, you could be the most cautious motherfucker this planet's ever seen, it ultimately doesn't matter since whether or not you fall victim to the scam pretty much entirely depends on how seriously your SIM provider, aka your phone company, takes its own customer security. Because all that the scammer would have to do would be to figure out the phone number that's linked to your Steam account, call up your phone provider pretending to be you, and calmly explain to the employee on the phone that you have lost your phone and we need to transfer your phone number to another one of your SIM card. If the scammer is a smooth talker and lucky enough to be talking to a gullible or just an employee that doesn't give a shit about anything, your phone number will be transferred to a SIM card the scammer owns and you'll be able to do pretty much anything you would be able to do with your phone number, so bypass any two-factor authentication, change your passwords, lock you out of your account, but most importantly, you also have total control over your Steam account and, just like in the iCloud hack, be able to transfer your skins to his other accounts or sell them to people who don't know any better. And just to give you an idea on how devastating these scams can be, in November 2021, a trader by the name of TempCS fell victim to the scam and lost upwards of $150,000 in skins, mostly sticker investments. Dude, my life isn't even worth $150,000, like that's crazy that it can happen. Now there are ways to minimize the likelihood of this happening to you, for example what Onlypixels says in this clip.
That's why you have to make sure that your mobile phone provider is not giving out like that easily. I called those motherfuckers. I said like, hey, this number needs to be protected at all costs. I said what is gonna happen if someone says I lost it, and make sure if you have a lot of money.
Well, I don't have a lot of money, but even if I did, I don't know how comfortable I'd feel knowing just one bad employee listening to a smooth talking scammer could cost me everything. My friends, we've now reached the deepest part of the iceberg. That's how depraved this scam is. And to be honest with you, I wasn't quite sure where to put this one, or even if I wanted to include it. Like, it's pretty preventable, just don't borrow your skins out to anybody. Easy, right? And while this might be true, the reason I decided to put getting scammed by a friend so deep down is because it just shows how bleak and heartless humanity can be sometimes. Like, just imagine this. You meet some guy in matchmaking, you guys have fun together, there's synergy, there's chemistry, you add each other, you play more games together over the following weeks, and then the following months, then you start having conversations about your lives, and it just feels like a genuine friendship. And then on a day that just seems like any other day, your friend asks you very casually and in his most normal voice if you could just borrow him a cheap knife just so he can know what it feels like. And I mean, unless you're a very cynical motherfucker, it doesn't feel like an unreasonable ask coming from what you feel is a genuine friend. Like what kind of psychopath would throw away a friendship like yours for a Csgo knife, like literally worthless pixels? So you're like, why not? And you send him something so both of you can brag while destroying some servers, like you do every day. Except that you two never end up doing that. Because shortly after sending him what are supposed to be worthless pixels, you can't seem to find your friend in your friends list. You go through your trade offers to find his profile, you click on his name, and that's when reality hits you. The motherfucker has blocked you. Your knife still sitting in his inventory, just looking back at you. You know, the worst part about this scam, unlike the other ones, is not the financial loss. It's the emotional one and just how it came out of nowhere. Suddenly, you've lost a friend, you've lost your self-esteem, you've lost your ability to form deep relationships with others without questioning their intentions, and you've lost a part of yourself that will be very hard to recover. And all that they've gained from you up this bad are worthless pixels, Jesus. And this is why I think, personally, that getting scammed by a friend deserves to be at the deepest part of this Csgo scams iceberg. But we're not done yet. There's still one more level to go to. Below the actual iceberg, deep within the cold, dark waters of CSGO, sits the most dangerous and devastating scam known to mankind. It's so severe in fact that its latest appearance sends shockwave throughout the community and forced Valve to intervene. Yes, I am talking about the HFB hack, probably the biggest scam and hack in the history of CSGO. We're talking about a $3 million inventory here, by the way, full of items like way too many #1 float items, the only in existence no star karambit, and the Hiko Karambit Blue Gem, one of the most beautiful knife in the game, probably easily worth at least $200,000, but only ended up being sold for $900 on a Russian marketplace by the hacker. I decided to put this scam at the bottom of the iceberg, well, actually below it, because all of the details around it are still pretty blurry. But what we do know is that 1. HFB's email and password were changed a week before items started popping up on marketplaces. 2. The hacker mainly used market.csgo.com, a Russian marketplace, to liquidate HFB's skin, a strong indicator that the perpetrator is indeed from Russia. And 3. Steam support messed up badly sometime before the hack and pretty much let it happen. We know this because they very quickly started rolling back trades, sending out HFB's item to people buying them on marketplaces, something that was unprecedented ever since the days of duping. And also, they literally admitted it when some dude asked them. The leading and most convincing theory is that a Russian hacker used Kiwi, basically the Russian PayPal, to send money to HFB's account. This can be done to anybody as long as you know what their Steam username is, by the way, so yeah. Sleep well tonight, buddy. They then contacted Steam support by pretending to be HFB and requesting a password and email reset, and then used the previously mentioned payment as proof of the ownership of the account. I guess that the Steam employee handling the fake HFB case just did a very sloppy job, or, and this is what I think, maybe Valve doesn't have a good protocol regarding Russian payment methods. This is what I think because this method has been used many times in the past by trolls, not hackers, in order to get people banned from the platform. Either way, the hacker was able to profit around $250,000 from this thanks to the Russian marketplace's instant crypto withdrawals, but don't feel too bad about it, since every single item stolen was now returned to HFB's inventory thanks to Valve's intervention, and every single person who paid money in order to buy HFB's items on these marketplaces were refunded. The HFB scam will probably go down in infamy as the biggest hack in CSGO's history. I don't think a bigger target than him exists, to be honest, but if it does, let me know in the comments, I'm interested. And hopefully it served as a wake-up call to Valve to clean up their act and be more thorough when dealing with support tickets. We now just have to wait and see if this method will keep sinking towards the bottom of the ocean, far from the iceberg, or if it'll come back bigger and scarier.